Grand Rising, loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. So, today we're going to talk about women and low self esteem, part 2. Okay, and this time we're going to delve a little bit deeper. Before, I was kind of touching on some of the internal issues that cause low self-esteem in women, but also how it tends to show or they tend to deal with it as they go along further in life, maturity, and age. But in this portion, we're going to talk about self-esteem or low self-esteem and how it starts at home. Alrighty? Because a lot of times that's where it starts. Interpersonal issues that cause low self-esteem can also come from parents. If you live in an abusive household where it's either mentally, physically, emotionally, or verbally abusive, that can have a very large effect on your self-esteem as well. Because I know personally, I had a friend growing up and her mother was very, very, very emotionally, physically, and mentally abusive to her. And I actually had to, step in one day and I was like, hold up, wait a minute. What we're not going to do is beat down my friend's self-esteem. However, by the time I came into her life, her self-esteem had already been broken, and I bore witness to her going through a lot of tumultuous relationships with males and females, which caused her a lot of emotional distress, and she suffered from low self-esteem. I don't know how she's doing now, but I know that it did play an effect on her, and I know that she had children, and that can be a generational thing. That's another way that you can start a generational curse of, low self-esteem. You ever saw a family where all of the females were just thoughtaratis? Grandma a thought, auntie a thought, your mom's a thought, you a thought. A lot of times that has to do with a family generational pattern of low self-esteem or practices that may cause low self-esteem, such as verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. Not just an abusive household is not just getting your ass beat every day. When you talk to your children, especially your daughters, and you tell them, you just like your mama, you ain't never gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? All you want to do is just lay on your back, or sometimes because we know our words are spells. So sometimes when you say things, you can speak things onto your children, onto your daughters, and if they're hearing that from their parents, of course they're gonna believe it. Because those are our first role models we have are our parents. So sometimes, especially I know in the South, they have a lot of sayings that they say mean no harm or have no ill intention, but really as a culture, it seems like a lot of African American Southern people, from my experience, they are so used to saying things that are demeaning in a joking way, not realizing that they're casting those verbal spells onto themselves and others, their children. When they joke around and be like, oh, you ain't shit, you hell, you this, you that. Don't say those things. Don't say those things, because words are spells. And especially when you're saying that to a young lady, a young girl, you may say it in jest because, that's how you guys joke, but they're going to believe that. And there's always a little bit of truth in everything you say. In every lie, there's always a little bit of truth, okay? Parents don't always realize the effect that their words or their actions have on a girl's self-esteem. That's why even when you're disciplining your children, because I know growing up in a Jamaican household, while you getting beat, they popping shit. They talking shit. They say, tell your backside say. What me say me I could do? What me say? They're talking shit. So, while you're disciplining your child and you popping shit, you have to be careful of what you say. Be careful of what you say. If you're chastising your child, I know a lot of y'all don't believe in disciplining your children, but spare the rod, spoil the child. Anywho, when you're disciplining your children, you have to watch what you say, because that, you're laying bricks, you're laying the foundation for, how they're going to feel about themselves, how their self-esteem is going to go. Just because you're upset, you don't speak in anger. You watch your words, because in anger, your tongue is a sword. So you may be saying things while you're disciplining your child, but don't call your child out their name. Don't tell them you a little hoe, you a little slut. If you find them, kissing on a boy or something, tell them they fast, you're gonna be a hoe, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. Remember, you were young as well also. How did you feel when you were growing up, ladies? It's a lot of things I know that you probably wish that your brother did different. I know it's a lot of things my mom did that I didn't like. Okay? And I know that some of the things that she would say affected me in ways that she probably didn't realize, because as I said, it's a culture thing. But I made sure that I would not do those things with my daughters. And that's vitally important, to raise these women, these young queens, well, to believe in themselves and have the high self-esteem and know how they're supposed to be talked to and how they're supposed to be treated, even in anger. Because when you love somebody, whether you're mad or not, it's just certain things you don't do and certain things that you don't say. And ladies, you have to know that so that you know your worth. Your self-esteem should always be intact, no matter what, no matter who you're dealing with, any type of interpersonal relationship you're dealing with. And a lot of times it starts at home. A lot of times, us young ladies, us young queens, we see men treating our moms like shit. Okay, if you come from a single parent household, you may see your mom looking for love, and you might see her have a whole bunch of different boyfriends, and it doesn't work out. And it may be due to the way that they treated them or what they tolerated from that man. Okay, but you have to realize you can't go off of that for yourself. You want a better life for yourself, you have to know better. And ladies, we have to realize our children see everything, and regardless of what we say, children are sponges, and they're going to emulate what they see, not what you say. You have to think about that. The way you talk to your daughter dictates what they will deem as acceptable, as I was saying before, from others. You can't sit there and talk to them like shit, and then when somebody else talks to them like shit, you're telling them, oh, don't let that person talk to you like that, because at the end of the day, they're going to be like, but you talked to me like that. I thought it was okay, because you're the person that they love the most. Fathers, don't tell your daughters certain things. Tell them that they're queens. Tell them that they deserve to be treated well, even if you and their mom didn't work out. Whenever you are around them, you have to set that standard and be that example. It goes further than just material things, because you are showing them how they are supposed to be treated by other men. Okay, that's why we have a lot of these females that have these daddy issues, and they go looking for love in all the wrong places. And believe you me, I know. I did that for years, so I know. Okay, lack of self-expression, it causes little girls to eat their feelings as well. Just as I said about the men, it does. Lack of self-expression, lack of self-esteem, self-love, lack of receiving love. You guys have no idea how much just telling your child, especially your daughters, I love you, makes such a difference. It makes such a difference, a world of difference, on how they view themselves, okay, how they take care of themselves, and everything. Don't ever forget to tell them those are words of affirmation and love and light that you're putting into your child, to let her know that she is beautiful, to build up that self-esteem from day one. Alrighty? Familial habits, overindulging, especially, hey, I keep bringing up the South because that's where I live, but especially in the South, you know, there's family traditions of every Sunday dinner is like Thanksgiving and stuff. Things like that, eating like that all the time is not healthy. Not only is it not healthy for you, but it lowers your vibration, right? So even if you are not feeling good about yourself, your vibration is even lower, so you're going to feel even worse, okay? And that's something that we need to work on. We got to break those habits, because what might have worked back in the day, you know, for the old school, our elders and, you know, the matriarchs in the family back in the day, you know, it may have been more societal, whatever the word is, acceptable for, you know, curvier or to eat that way and stuff. But now in this day and age, when we going through spiritual warfare and everything, we have to be as healthy. Our bodies are our temples. We have to show those healthy habits, because nowadays it is taking a larger toll on women's self-esteem and how they view themselves. They want to be perceived a certain way. They want to look a certain way. And it's very important to teach our children healthy habits, especially with food, because that definitely plays a large portion in self-esteem, because a lot of young women suffer from low self-esteem due to weight issues. And I know, you know what I'm saying? Because I was a chunk growing up, most definitely. And that definitely affected me and my esteem for a little bit, until I decided to take matters into my own hand and realize that it does not have to be a genetic thing. All right. If you look around your whole family and everybody is obese, a lot of times people tend to think that, oh, it's just a genetic thing. But I'm going to tell you, you can work past that. You can change that, but it takes habit, and healthy habits start at home. Definitely start at home. And that also, a lot of, as I was saying before with the daddy issues, that plays a large portion of the self-esteem. Fathers, be there for your daughters. Because what you're not realizing is whether it's because you and the mother don't get along, or whether it's because you just feel like you have better things to do, that is going to affect your child, your daughter in the long run, and her self-esteem issues. And then she's going to be used to men not being there for her. And that's going to play on her issues as well, because daddy wasn't there. So she's going to feel like she's not worthy, and that's going to play on her self-esteem. And that's not what we want. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to raise strong kings and queens. All right. So even if you were not doing your best before, even if you were not raised with your parents doing those things, think about how it affected you and how it made you feel, and do differently. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late. Never. You don't want your daughters to suffer from the low self-esteem and be looking for love in all the wrong places, in all the wrong people. Mothers, if your daughters see you in toxic relationships, all right, if they always hear you on the phone going back and forth with a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Excuse my French. Oui. If they always see you going back and forth on the phone with a nigga and accepting the bare minimums from men, if they always see you, going back and forth with females, accepting the bare minimum from friendships, they absorb all of that, okay? And indirectly, your daughters always grow up to be just like you. So when you can't tell them when they get older, hey, don't accept that, don't do that, because they're going to be like, well, Mom, I saw you do it and I thought it was okay. And that's not what we want, because that's going to be like a slap in the face, right? We have to learn how to build these young ladies' self-esteem at home. Even if we were not raised with that and we had to build our own, by the time you have children, by the time you lay down and decide to make a child, you should know, even if your life didn't go a certain way, that you want better. You should always want better for your child, especially your daughter. You should never want her to go through the same shit that you went through, because I know time's been motherfucking hard these past years, these past generations. Alrighty? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to break these generational patterns and curses, right? And also, too, what I have come to realize is that the younger, lesser evolved souls have a higher tendency to become products of their environment, especially when it comes to, having low self-esteem, being in toxic relationships and everything. Because what people fail to realize is the body is just a vessel, but the soul travels. And you can definitely tell. That's why when you have these babies and you have these little babies and you be like, oh, she's been here before, he's been here before. That is very true. So a lot of times, we will feel, as older women, we will feel like we know best, but then we'll have a young daughter that is watching us and she's saying, Mommy, this is not right. He's not for you, X, Y, and Z. Listen to your children, because they may be older than you. Their souls may be older than you, okay? And if you don't listen to them, or if every time they try to speak to you, you tell them that they are wrong, each time, boop, it's like a hammer chipping on their self-esteem, chipping on their self-esteem, chipping on their self-esteem. And then when they get older, they're going to feel like they can't speak out. They're going to feel like nobody's going to listen to them, okay? And that is going to play on their self-esteem, not just at home, but with everybody else around them. And we have to take that into consideration. That's why it's very important to listen to your children, especially your little girls growing up, because it's a lot of things that we can miss. It all starts at home. Women, low self-esteem, high self-esteem starts at home. Keep that in mind. And also, too, don't be afraid to mosey on over to my website, www.EmpressOracle333.com, where I have all my crystal jewelry, incense oils, etc. Go ahead and get you some. And also check me out on YouTube, Empress Oracle 333. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. And don't forget, it starts at home. I love you guys. Be blessed.